Hi, welcome to another episode of Why Communication Matters. I'm Joe and today I'm joined with Pranav. Today we'll be discussing about the fundamentals of PR for VC firms. Thank you, Pranav, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Pranav, tell us, why is PR essential for VC firms and why do they need it?
Well, VC firms typically have a life cycle that requires a lot of communication support. So at first they're looking to raise a fund, and that requires them to not only go directly to potential LPs into their fund, but also communicate through the media and through LinkedIn and other platforms to really communicate their investment thesis and what they stand for, and to convince these LPs that they should trust their money with this particular VC. Once they raise a fund, their main bread and butter is to actually invest that money into startups. So for deal flow, they have to signal to the market that, look, this is our track record, this is who we are, this is what we're investing into, to try and attract startup funders to come to them and say, you know what, we would love to have you on our cap table. And finally, VCs also work very closely with their startup founders to help them build their teams out, to maybe help them expand into new markets and other things like that. So for that, they also have to have a strong network of people who they can look to hire as part of their team, who have operational experience in different verticals or different countries. They also are looking at people that they can then place at different startups, and obviously they're looking at building their own team and building their capabilities to identify startups and deal flow in all markets. So there's three huge priorities. You're trying to signal to the general tech and investment market, you're trying to signal to startup founders for deal flow, and you're trying to signal to LPs for investment money into your VC. Underlying that is this concept of trust. So VCs have to signal this level of trust to their LPs, because LPs are trusting them with a large amount of money. VCs are taking that money and placing them into relatively high-risk companies, startups at very early stage as well. So underlying the entire communication process is this sense of trust and credibility, and that's why it's really important for VCs to communicate authentically to build that level of awareness, trust, and credibility.
So how can PR boost awareness for VC firms?
Well, following from what I just said, PR and communications can really help build that level of trust and credibility, especially if it's done authentically. So this requires VCs to really be very open with what type of companies they're trying to invest in, what market opportunities they see, and what they can do for founders. So it's really important for VCs to come in and to share, what the market opportunity is that they see, to also show founders very clearly what they can do if they're on the cap table, how they can help them scale from where they are to sort of go to the unicorn level and beyond, and to build a very strong and sustainable company. And also to LPs, they have to really showcase that level of trust that we are the right people to trust your money with. So that's where PR can come in, can help build out those strategies, can help execute that, and can help communicate authentically to all those three target audiences.
And could you tell us what VCs need to do to make them stand out in a crowded market?
Well, another thing that we've noticed recently is that a lot of VC firms have brought in industry experts or vertical experts to help their founders and their founding teams grow in specific areas. So they've hired marketing teams to help really work closely with founders and build a stronger community and help them through their marketing. So these benefits that VC firms can bring to startups beyond just funding, beyond just the network, are becoming extremely important. So we help a lot of our venture firms, our venture clients, really communicate those benefits so that they can help stand out in front of the eyes of their founders as well.
How can VCs build their trust and reputation in markets?
Well, the most important thing is to be authentic and to be consistent. So if one day you're saying we invest only in Singapore, and then the next day you do 5 deals in Indonesia, that doesn't really track. If one day you say social commerce is our area of focus, and the next day you're investing in only fintech deals, again, that doesn't really hold up. So you have to be extremely consistent and authentic in terms of what you're saying. If you're claiming something, you have to be able to back it up. And again, the same principles apply for communications in general. This is not only specific to VCs, right? To build trust, to build credibility, to build awareness, you have to be consistent, you have to be credible, and you have to say things that you can justify as well.
And finally, what's the benefits of working with a PR agency for VC firms?
Well, there's many benefits. VC firms are typically relatively lean, so their focus is on identifying their investments and on helping them scale and helping them grow. That's their core business. So they often rely on external partners and PR agencies to help them with the communications part of things. So for different VC firms, we've done everything from all their communication and the PR. So we actually work as their I would say extended marketing team or comms team, but they don't really have an internal team, so we are their comms team in general. And we help them with everything from handling the social media pages to creating thought leadership posts that we place as bylines in media as well, and we also get them placed and put them up on LinkedIn. All the media communications, managing the reputation, dealing with journalists, handling all incoming and outbound communications as well. For many of them, we actually handle their funding announcements for their portfolio companies as well. So we take that sort of responsibility and we get a chance to work with some of the exciting portfolio companies as well. So there's a whole range of things that we can do for venture firms. We've also built a number of their websites, especially in the first few days when they were getting established. So there's a lot of things we can help VCs with.
Thank you, Pranav, for the time today. That's all for today's episode of Why Communication Matters. If you have any question about communications for VCs, do leave a comment down below. Or if you have any general inquiries about communications, feel free to reach out to us. Well, that's it for today, and we hope you check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time. Bye.